crossroads in your life? Are you unsure in which direction you should be headed? Are you ready to embrace your spiritual growth and spread your wings in this lifetime to experience life full of abundance and joy? If this sounds like you, I welcome you to grab your pen, your paper, your coffee, and tune in to episode 36 of the Coffee and Confidence Show, how to transform your present to take control of your future. So welcome to the Coffee and Confidence Show. My name is Kelly Carrigan, and I'm the host of the Coffee and Confidence Show. I am an empowerment coach, and my business is EmpowerMe Coaching. Me personally, I am helping sensitive souls establish healthy boundaries and communicate them from a place of love, because I truly believe it is time right now more than ever for sensitive souls to embrace their sensitivity as their superpower, to embrace their empathetic qualities, because I truly believe that the world needs more heart. The world needs more you. So welcome to the show. I'm excited to introduce today's guest to you. Today I have Rae Calnan, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Rae, and then I'm going to bring her on. So Rae, she is helping those at a crossroads in their life. So who better to bring on today? She's helping those people in a crossroads to get clear on their destiny, and then she's using the help of the angelic Reiki, future life progression, past life progression. She uses meditation techniques, hypnosis, and angel cards. So get ready for a spiritual experience today. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Rae so that she can share a little bit more about herself. So welcome to the show, Rae. So glad to have you. Please share a little more about yourself.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for having me, Kelly. Well, I've, as you can guess, I'm in the UK from my accent. And basically, I've been involved in all things spiritual since I was a kid. You know, my parents took me to spiritualist churches. So I've always had that spiritual background with me, but I've also kind of like been quite a questioning, analytical minded person, you know, always looking for what's behind this? What's behind that? You know, does that really make sense? Does that doesn't make sense? So I've kind of like had a little bit of a challenge sometimes through my life with that. And the spiritual path has been really good in opening me up to going more with my intuition and looking for synchronicities that happen around me that lead me onto various things. You know, I'm also a Wiccan, so I'm very much into paganism. And that marries quite well with the angels, which can seem a little bit strange because you think angels up here, paganism down here, but they do actually work quite well together. And I've been involved with or interested in angels since about 2000, before they became really big like they are today. And that came about after a life-changing trip to Peru. And then obviously since then I've worked with angels and I learned angelic Reiki, which I've now become a practitioner of. And I was finding when I was doing the angelic Reiki, a lot of the clients I was doing multidimensional healing, and multidimensional healing is healing in past lives, future lives, other dimensions. And it kind of like got me thinking, you know, is there more of a scientific way around this as well? And I'd always been interested in hypnosis and past life regression. So I thought, you know, saying I'll study hypnosis and past life progression. But then I came across future life progression, and it's like, oh, this looks very interesting. And the more I looked into it, the more I was thinking, you know, this actually can work quite well, because with the multidimensional healing, you know, the past life regression, I could take people back. And with the future life progression, I can take people forward. And I work very much in the present. And I find that when I take people back and I heal their past, or I should say they heal their past, they're then fully in the present because they're not worrying about their past anymore. And when I take them into the future, they see what their future is going to be, what's happening, and they come back to the present, and they're not worried anymore. So again, they're fully back in the present, not worrying their past, their future, going, yep, I know where I'm going. That's my path. And that's how it's kind of like developed for me with my own journey through the years, through healing a lot of my past stuff and seeing my future and bringing me to where I am now today.
Mm-hmm. So what has been, if you could just choose one, because I'm sure there's many, what's like the biggest impact that you've experienced in your life because of, this work that you do? Say one of the biggest advantages for you.
One of the biggest advantages is that I really don't worry about my future or what's going on. It's kind of like I concentrate on every day with what I'm doing that day, knowing that I am actually going along the path I'm meant to be going along, and the synchronicities come in, and I'm always open to looking out for them to lead me to the next person, to the next course, to the next show, and I just look for different things. And I think because I have worked on a lot of my past life stuff. I mean, I've been about since the beginning of time, and I still haven't got to the tip of the iceberg on my past lives, but I've healed the most important ones that are affecting me now. And sort of like where I have gone in and seen my future, and I know that I've got no worries about where I'm going to be going. I am now fully present, noticing what's going on, and just really living day to day without any worries about the future at all.
Mm-hmm. This is so interesting. There's so many interesting little nuggets that you mentioned there. So even like what I'm thinking about is people that, could use your help. I'm thinking the benefits of living in the present moment. Would you agree that it literally like wipes away anxiety?
Oh, absolutely. Because if you're not worrying about the future, you're kind of like, okay, so I can just get on and live my life now, and enjoy my present time, enjoy the people I'm with, and just be happy and at peace, basically.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting the goosebumps listening to you speak because I personally know the benefits of living in the moment and, just feeling connected, to the people you're with at the time, right? Would you experience that as well? Yeah.
And you find when you're in the present, everyone you do connect with it's more of a meaningful relationship, because again, you're not worrying about them, what they're thinking, what they're doing, because you're not worried about what they think or they might not think, because you're fully concentrated on yourself and being your own true person.
Right. So I'm just jotting this down right now. So letting go of judgment is huge as well. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that about yourself. I'm excited to dive into the conversation, but first, because this is the Coffee and Confidence show, we're going to take a moment and do the whole piece of what is in your cup. So I'll get you to share first, Rae. What's in your cup?
Okay, well, I've got my Keep Calm and Ask an Angel mug.
Oh, look at that. That's amazing.
Surprise. And I can't actually remember where I got this mug from. Obviously, because I've always been involved with angels. People do tend to buy me bits with angels on. Right, so I can't. I've had this cup for many years, and inside my cup, I actually have herbal tea. I haven't drunk. Occasionally, I'll have a proper cup of British tea. So I have to make that British tea. Rarely drink coffee, but I'm dairy intolerant, so I don't really have dairy. But I love herbal teas, and I've got a little pot where I can put my own herbs in and put the hot water on, and drink those teas. Although this is a pucker love tea that I'm drinking today, so that's one of the makes that's already, because I like the love tea.
Oh, that's amazing. That sounds lovely. Well, thank you for sharing. So in my cup today, I have my Adventure is Out There.
Hey.
Because I love adventure, and it's a big cup, as you could probably
That's
tell.
a very big cup. You can get a lot of coffee in that.
Well, it's a little deceiving. It's about half coffee, half cashew milk. So I do love dairy in my coffee. However, I'm trying to get away from it. I'm trying to, develop a love for this cashew milk. So I like put it in the frother and, add a little maple syrup to it. And yeah, so it's really about half coffee, half cashew milk. So that is what is in my cup this morning. For anybody tuning in live, or if you're catching the replay, please share with us what is in your cup this morning. And please say hello. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And you can ask questions, share your comments, because the more involved you are in this conversation, the more you will benefit from it. So thank you so much for sharing what's in your cup, Rae. So today's show is how to transform your present to create your future. And why is transforming your present so important for creating your future?
Okay. Because if you transform your present, then your future will actually come a bit quicker to you than you actually know. Say, like, imagine if you knew 5 years ago what you knew now. You would so 5 years ago you travel to your 5 years now, and you see where you are now with what you're doing, and you're thinking, do you know something? That I could have done this, I could have done that, I could not get into that relationship. So you communicate with your future self, and you pick up the knowledge from that. So you would then take what you know now back 5 years to you 5 years ago, and you would say, actually, do you know something? What you should have done was this, this, this. And you go, actually, yeah, I'll do that. And then your 5 years is completely different to how you think it was going to be, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So my mind works a little differently than yours, and my mind goes to, like this whole goal setting, and it's just like, you go to the future to create that goal, and then you take those steps back. And I think choices too are the choices that we make in the moment. I always believe that we have a choice in every moment of what we say, how we react, what we do, what we say yes to, what we say no to, all of those things as well.
Yeah, and the thing with going into your future is that you get the answer to those things. So you know what questions to ask, you know what paths to go down, you know what choices you have to make. And because you already know that, you're not worried when you suddenly get that option in front of you, those two options in front of you, thinking, oh my God, which one should I take? Because you already know, and you know which one is going to be better for you. So you've actually transformed your present at that moment in time, because you know the path you're going to go down. That makes sense.
Yeah. So to me, that's like gaining clarity about where you want to go. And when you are clear on where you want to go, it's easier to make those decisions in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Earlier you mentioned, I wrote down actually, because you had mentioned, and you mentioned, I wrote down, being able to let go of judgment, right? By transforming your present, you're able to let go of judgment, which is huge. Because I think so many people have that fear of being judged, and they are restraining themselves from, they're feeling stuck because, especially as fear. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I sometimes get people that come and see me, or if I'm running afternoon tea with the angels or something like that, and they'll go, and they go, oh, it's brilliant I'm in this space because I can talk about angels and things like this, because I don't want to talk about it to my family or to my work colleagues, because they might think I'm strange, or they might think I'm a little bit, but with you I can. It's kind of like, but you don't have to be, you know. I get the point. I will talk about angels to anybody who listens. You know, it doesn't matter who they are or what they're doing. I'm quite happy talking about angels, and I don't worry about how people may judge me on that. You know, if they think I'm mad, that's absolutely fine. You know, if they think, oh, there's something in that, again, that's absolutely fine. And because I've kind of like connected with that, and I know that there are angels, and I think that's the big difference: believing and knowing.
Mm-hmm.
If you know something, then you have no worries about what other people will think about you. I mean, I don't really tend to use the word believe, because in the middle of it is the word lie. And words have quite a big impact. So when people go, do you believe in angels, or do you believe in future life progression? I go, no, I know that there are angels. I know that future life progression works. I know past life regression works. It's worked for me. I've seen it work for other people. So when you know something and you're accepting of something, then it makes it a lot easier not to allow people to have judgments about you, or you don't worry about what judgments people may have, because you're your own individual. And when it comes down to it, we all are on our own individual path. You know, and it doesn't matter what anyone else says or do. If you're true to your path, they can't affect it the same way as you can't affect their path. If that's the path they've chosen, nothing you can say or do will change them in any way, shape or form. So other people really can't stop you from your path if you don't allow them to judge you, or you're not allowed. You're not worried about them judging you, because what do their opinions matter? You know what you're doing, you know where you're going, you know what you're supposed to do. So why worry?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. And I think people that do worry is because they don't have this sense of knowing. And that's exactly what you do, right? Like I'm just looking at my notes here, is that you help those people get clear on their destiny so that they can embrace their present. Mm-hmm. And be confident, right? See how I threw that in there? Confidence.
Brilliant. I like it.
Right? To be confident in taking those steps forward, because there's so many people in our world today who feel stuck, who feel, unclear about their path forward. So you talk about the future life progression, how you can, basically, if I'm saying this wrong, please correct me. But if you can bring people into their future so that they can see and they can get a clear vision. So what is the process of that? Can you bring us through that process?
I mean, it's a really straightforward thing. If you can meditate, then you can do future life progression. I mean, everyone knows about hypnosis and going into that theta state where you're fully present, but you're in your subconscious. So it's like if you drive your car from A to B and you get to B and you think, how on earth did I get here? I don't remember this journey in any way, shape or form, but you know that you would have stopped at traffic lights and given way, etc. And that's kind of like the theta state you get to in hypnosis. And it's very similar to future life progression. So it's kind of like future life progression is kind of like between meditation and hypnosis. So you go into a very nice relaxed state, which allows your mind to actually, or your conscious mind to take a back seat and allow your subconscious to actually come into its own, because obviously our little conscious voice is always there going ta 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 ta, like that to us all the time. But if you can get that nice and relaxed and you bring your subconscious forward, then all the knowledge that you already know, because to my way of thinking, you come in with all the knowledge you know. It's just that as soon as we get into human form, we forget it. And I've known when I've taken people back to past lives and I take them into that in-between life, and you go to, why did you choose to be born in the present? And they go, well, because of such and such and such and such. And then when they come back, it's like, well, why didn't I remember that? It's because you came into a human body, you came into a human body and you had all these influences around you that didn't allow you to expand on that. So now I've got a train of thought. I wanted to say I have a habit. I'm gonna go off on tangent, and then I've got to come back again.
I can totally relate. It's all good.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'll go off on that one, and I come back to this one. So we get you into a very nice relaxed state, and then what we do is we take you on a journey, and again, it's like guided meditation, which is a lot easier for people quite often than just normal meditation, because with guided meditation, it's giving that left side of your brain something to do. So it's not focusing on what's shopping, what you're picking the kids up, etc. It's focused. It's for always going, oh, I'm being told I'm going on a journey. So it keeps that part of your brain occupied, which again allows your right brain, your subconscious, to actually come into the fore. So you go on a really nice journey to wherever it is that we may be going, because there are various things you can do with future life progression. You can take somebody down into a room where they can see 5 years into the future, but 3 possible scenarios. So you go 5 years into the future if you continue on the path you're doing now, then you can come back. Then you go 5 years into the future to see, because when you go into that first 5 years, you sort of like ask yourself, what could I have done differently? And then you bring that back. Then you go into the 5 years if you make those changes, and you go, well, okay, I've made those changes and this is what my life is like now. And then you go 5 years into the future, your best possible 5 years in the future, which may be nothing to do with either of those two things, but something completely different. And you speak to your future self and you find out what you did to get to that. You bring the energy back because you feel it, you really get into it, and you bring the energy back. And that's one way of going into the future. You can do that for 10 years. You can even go into a future lifetime. So your next lifetime, wherever that may be, and that's brought up some really interesting things. I'm not worried about planet Earth or the humans in any way, shape or form because of the experiences of people that have gone into future lives. Yes, we're slightly different, but we still exist, and Earth still exists. So, again, that's the thing I'm not worried about in the present. I'm not worried about planet Earth, so long as we do everything that we can, or we've seen that we can do, then we've got no worries about it at all. But you can also use it for decision making as well. Imagine if you were lucky enough to get 2 marriage proposals. Just say, why you'd be dating 2 minutes
okay,
later.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but
this sounds like a fun example.
Yeah. So I don't know. Let's say so you go 5 years into the future if you marry Dave, and you see what your life is like in that 5 years in the future. You may be happy, you may be sad. 5 years, who knows? Anyway, you come back. You then go 5 years into the future with Bob. And you see what your married life with Bob is like 5 years in the future. And then you come back. Now, you might have a really good life with Dave, but not with Bob, or vice versa, or both might be mediocre. But then you can go 5 years into the future with your best possible partner. Now, it may be Dave, it may be Bob, or it may be someone you hadn't even thought of. Mm-hmm. So you go, actually, I'm not going to marry Dave, I'm not going to marry Bob, because I know there's this other guy that at some point is going to come into my life, and I'm going to be much better off with him. And students can use it as well to, what should I study at college? Should I do this one? Should I do that one? And you can take them 5 years into the future, or 10 years into the future, see if they took this, are they happy doing that? If not, what are they doing there? If not, and you can do loads of different subjects. It does have to be 3 all the time. It can be 1, it can be, it can be many. So that's just one of the ways. You can also see if you're looking at selling your house, how, what is my next house going to look like? And then you can see what it is, what it's like. Well, how did I sell my house to get this? So you're given the answers. So you bring that back to the present, and you go, okay, I make those changes now in my house, and you find that rather than being there in 5 years' time, you actually get there a lot quicker. And that's the beauty of future life regression, because you go and experience it, you go and ask questions, you learn from it, and you bring all that energy back into the present. You actually get to those things a lot quicker than 5 years.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Oh gosh, quite a few years ago now, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I did an exercise. I guess it's somewhat along the same line, but not exactly, where, I made a list of all the things that I desired about where I wanted to live. And I was really descriptive, and I would use like all of my senses, like what did I see, what did I smell, what did I hear, what was that feeling? And I used all of those. And about 2 years ago, I found that list, and I put it away. It's in an old, journal somewhere.
Yeah.
And when I looked at it, I was like, eyes were big. I was like, oh my goodness. Like every one of them, except one, because one of them was to live in a warm climate where I can grow fresh food year round. And that's not in Canada.
No.
Maybe if I had like a greenhouse or something, But anyways, It was just really interesting, is because, like you said, I had brought that into my awareness and just able to create it a whole lot faster.
Yeah, and then that's the thing, when you experience and feel that energy, because everything is energy, and there's science behind it. Everything is this form of energy. It's just that it vibrates on different dimensions. And if you can bring in that energy of the knowing, of the excitement, of everything, then you can create it. We are here to create our most perfect futures. We just have to know that we can do it and tap into those energies.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. I am a big energy girl. Like everything that I talk about, it revolves around energy. And, the life that we have is what we create for ourselves. And there's so many benefits to what you're talking about, right? To, letting go of judgment, experiencing no anxiety, no fear, being able to live in that present moment and connect with the souls, with the energy that you're meant to connect with in that present moment. So that's really amazing advice for people out there who feel that they're at a crossroads. They're unsure of their decisions, of where to go. It's just, reaching out to people like you to help, ignite that and help them create that for themselves. It's amazing.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's we create our own. So I don't create it for you. You create it yourself. I'm just there to guide you, to get you on that path, and then allow you to go off and spread your wings and do what you're supposed to be doing. And that, not for me to constantly be doing it for you. It's like, right, I've given you these tools. You're fully in the present. Go and spread your wings and do what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Advice I give a lot is raise your vibration.
Oh, most definitely. Every morning, before I get out of bed, I sit there and I center myself, and I just literally feel my heart open by 200+%, sending out non-judgmental, unconditional love to everyone and everything. And then just allowing myself to be in that energy as much as I possibly can during the day.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. I want to invite you to share with the viewers how people can get in touch with you.
Okay, well, they can either find me on my Facebook page, Radiant Angel Energy, or via my website, www.radiantangelenergy.co.uk, where it's got everything that I do, that I offer. I also offer a free 20 to 30 minute online chat with people to see if I can help them transform their destiny. before they commit to anything with me, and I sort of like educate them a bit more on what I do. And that's just by messaging me via my Facebook page or on my website. So yeah, they're probably the two best ways of people getting hold of me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. And once we're done here, I welcome you to leave those links in the comments as well, so people can find that pretty quickly. They've got easy access to it.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, well, that's great. That takes us to the end of episode 36 of the Coffee and Confidence Show. Thank you so much, Rae, for being my guest. It's been a pleasure to get to know you, to learn about your work in a deeper way. And I'm forever grateful to have you on this show.
Oh, thank you so much for letting me talk about my passions.
Yes, absolutely. To spread your wings, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to get you to stay online once we're done, and we'll chat for a few minutes. But for now, we're going to say bye to everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you on episode 37 of the Coffee and Confidence Show. Bye.
Bye.